From a Lego Diddy minifigure to, wait, no way they made a Lego Hawk 2 girl. These are some of the most cursed Lego items of all time. Starting off with this really sus piece, the Lego Technic pin and axle connector. This piece is supposed to connect pins and axles on Lego Technic vehicles, but for some unknown reason, it got super popular in the Lego community. Let's just be honest though, Lego knew exactly what they were doing with this piece. Like, come on, we all know what this looks like. On to the next is a custom minifigure called the Badtime Enthusiast, who's obviously Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is cursed all on his own, but giving him 2 heads is one of the most cursed things I've ever seen. This is a minifigure you definitely don't want in your collection, unless you never go to sleep or something. This next minifigure though is cursed in a totally different way. We all know that Lego fans can get pretty crazy when they make custom Lego items, but the fact that people are seriously making the Lego Hawk 2 girl is insane. There's no way anyone would ever buy this, right? It's way too cursed. But this next item might make less sense than the Hawk 2 minifigure. This is a Lego manual for the deceased, and like, how are you even supposed to use this? If it's a manual for dead people, then that means you can't use it unless you're dead. So it seems to me that this Lego item is a curse all on its own. Like, you're literally putting a curse on yourself. Stay away from this one, guys. But as they say, there's always a bigger fish. This is a Lego Ouija board, and even if you don't think Ouija boards are real, you have to admit that this is pretty cursed. I mean, the real one is bad enough, so why would anyone ever want to own a Lego version too? I don't know. All this talk of the afterlife is messing with my head. Let's get back to some minifigures. Now, what do you do when a Barbie starts carrying around the manual for the deceased? Well, you get a Borie. Even though this thing looks cursed, I have to say, it takes a really creative mind to design and make something like this. Even though they only changed one letter, they made it sound so funny. Back to the weird, cursed, and unexplainable minifigures. Here we have a guy. Well, a tube guy called Butcher. His body is in the shape of a tube, like those waving balloons you see outside car dealerships. That's cursed itself, but what makes it even worse is its design. His arms are labeled as his feet, but he's also made of ham, bacon, and a bunch of other weird stuff. Who even thought to do this? Next up, we've got a thing. Yes, a thing, because I really don't know what else to call it. On the left, we've got a minifig that's holding a Molotov with a whiskey label, and on the right, we've got a creature whose torso is a minifigure head with snail eyes and spider legs. I can't even tell what's going on here. This is way too much for my head. Speaking of heads though, this one's for all the old heads. Take a look at this Eazy-E minifigure. Now, before you get all upset, this minifigure isn't really that cursed, but come on, did he have to be holding a bottle of 800? That's so unnecessary. If you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe. I post Lego videos every single week. Do you have your own cursed minifigure that you want to make more cursed? Well, here's your chance. For only a couple of bucks, you can give your already cursed minifig a stacked zombie head. I can't even imagine how cursed this would look on a minifigure. I mean, this headpiece is so tall. But if you think that's not cursed, then take a look at this. A stacked Frankenstein zombie head. Look at how big his forehead is. The stacked zombie head might look okay from the front, but this Frankenstein head looks terrible from every angle. I mean, it's just way too cursed. But for those of you who have known Lego as a perfect way for someone to have innocent fun, well, I'm about to change that, because here's another bad Lego accessory. A bag of some green leaves and a sort of vase. For those of you who don't know what this is, good, it should stay that way. And for those of you who do know, why and how do you know what this is? This is definitely cursed. But if these leaves are too much for you, no worries. Have some Lego cigarettes. Just kidding, stay away from those. They're really bad for your health. But seriously, who would make something cursed like this and top it off by packing it into a cigarette-inspired packaging? Whatever, on to the next. Remember that butcher tube guy? Well, you'll see him more than once in this video. Here we have another tube guy who's only wearing underwear. The more you stare at him, the more cursed he gets. I mean, who makes these? Actually, no. Who buys or even considers buying these? Honestly though, we need a break from all these weird minifigures and accessories. So let me show you something that's really cursed. A WWE Smackdown set. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the idea, and I think it's really good for WWE fans, but the way it's made is just super weird. Take a look at these minifigures. They look nothing like actual Lego minifigures, but the set was made by Lego. Straight cursed. But this next thing might be worse. Here's a Lego head with pink hair on the entire thing. It's basically just a bigger minifigure head that's furry. So if you take a pink body and stack this head on it, you'll basically get the most cursed minifigure ever. Like, just imagine a giant pink furry minifigure sitting in front of you. Yeah, that definitely proves it. This thing is 100% cursed. But could you ever imagine Nickelodeon making a cursed Lego item? Nickelodeon is a big company with a lot of money, and I could never imagine them making a cursed Lego set. But they did. did. This is the SpongeBob building house, and it may not look bad at first, but the longer you look at it, the worse it gets. One thing that makes this set cursed is SpongeBob himself. Just look at him with those wide shoulders. But it gets worse. You can actually make him go blind. His eyes can literally pop out, and you'll be left with an eyeless SpongeBob that looks like he came straight from a horror movie. If that isn't cursed, then I don't know what is. Let's get back to some cursed minifigs, though. Now, to be honest, I can't decide if this next one is cursed or not, but it's at least weird. This minifig is called Sunscreen Enthusiast, and it's basically a guy in his swim trunks who forgot to use sunscreen and got some super gnarly tan lines. See what I mean now? Like, this minifigure isn't that bad, but it's definitely towing the line between cursed and weird. Before we move on to the next item, though, I just have to apologize. This might ruin your favorite video game. This is a knockoff Lego Minecraft set with probably the worst name ever, My World. The more you look at it, the worse it gets. Like, look at this charged creeper minifigure. This isn't what they look like in the game at all. Then look at Alex. He's got full diamond armor with a wooden sword. Like, what? Then not to mention the TNT with the reversed colors and a purple spider. This set is cursed in every way possible. Let's just get on to the next item. On to the next really cursed minifigure, we have the Botany Enthusiast. If you can't figure out why it has this name, then it's probably for the best. He looks like he's enjoying his life while holding his vase, though. For the people who know what this means, I think you can agree with me here. There is no reason for this minifigure to exist. Next up, we've got a fortune teller booth, and even though it's not as bad as the Frankenstein Head, it's still cursed, because think about it. There's a human sitting inside a machine, like he literally can't get out, and you expect me to let this guy tell me my fortune? Yeah, no way. Too cursed for me. I have to warn you though, if you get scared easily, skip this next item. This is a double-headed minifigure of Jason. Yeah, the guy from the horror movies. Just a regular Jason minifigure would be bad enough, but the fact that this guy has 2 heads is insane. Jason with 4 eyes? I mean, you're literally never escaping. You can run, but you definitely can't escape Two-Headed Jason. There might be something wrong with me though, because this next minifigure scares me even more than Two-Headed Jason. Check out this tube clown minifigure. I don't know about you guys, but clowns are by far the scariest thing ever. For that reason alone, I have no choice but to call this thing cursed. I don't know what it is, but these tube guy minifigures don't want to give me any peace. Here we have another one, but this one is called a weird frog. I don't know if it's because it's green or the way he's staring at me, but I know for sure that he's definitely cursed. Thank God the next one isn't that bad though. It's more weird and ugly. I mean, it does make sense though. I mean, his name is literally Ugly Tall Head. I don't know, and I don't want to know why someone decided to make this, but one thing I do want to know is why someone would buy this, and how would they even use it? Comment down below if you'd buy this thing. I'm genuinely super curious. Believe it or not though, this next item is an actual accessory that really exists. This is a so-called brick pick. Yeah, I'm serious. I don't know who made this or why they'd ever do it, but I mean, come on, this is just insane. Nobody wants to see that, bro. Get it out of here. On to the next item though, I have to warn you, since Christmas is right around the corner, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to skip, because I really don't want to ruin Christmas for you. I present to you a Santa minifigure. Well, kind of. This guy has clearly been through some coal in his time in the North Pole. I don't know what happened to him, but he's probably handing out fists this year instead of presents. Be careful. At this point, it's too obvious that whoever's making these minifigures loves making stuff look cursed. Here we have a minifigure in a body bag. I cannot believe how detailed it is, even though it's a simple minifigure. They even made her lips lose their color since she's, well, dead. This minifigure is a perfect fit for the manual for the deceased, so it's definitely cursed. Now, we were all scared of the Illuminati at one point in our lives, so the fact that an Illuminati minifigure exists is so insane. Money, pyramid, and eye, and that well-known star are all direct references to the Illuminati. Considering all the rumors around this organization, this item is definitely cursed, so let's just move on to the next one. Remember that butcher tube guy? Well, here we have another butcher, but this one is even worse because it's a human body. This time the hips are made of ham and the stomach is made of bacon. Whoever made this should definitely visit a mental hospital because this thing is cursed. Now, this next minifigure is already super creepy, but there's one detail that makes it way worse. This is a minifig of Chucky, a well-known horror movie character. The scariest part about Chucky is that he's the size of a tiny little doll, so the fact that this minifigure has short legs just makes it all the more cursed. Remember that super creepy blind SpongeBob from before? Well, I might have found a SpongeBob item that's even more cursed than that. Check this one out. Isn't this just downright ugly? Besides his very clearly ugly face, look at his legs. SpongeBob definitely doesn't have brown legs, so this leg piece just makes this whole thing worse. But if you think this minifigure is bad, just wait for the next one. Take a look at this Squid Game minifigure. Now, it doesn't actually look that bad, but that's not why this thing's cursed. The show this minifigure is based on is super brutal. It's literally just a show where a bunch of people, well, you know, The fact that someone made a minifigure based on such a cursed show is crazy. So there's no doubt that this minifigure is cursed. This next one is for all the hockey fans. Have you guys heard of Gritty, the mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers? Well, he's perfect as a mascot, but as a minifigure, he's super cursed. I don't know whose idea it was to combine this guy with a girl in a bikini, but it's super hard to look at. Imagine waking up next to that thing in the morning. That's a real life nightmare. But this next minifigure might be even worse. This is a Chica minifigure. Yeah, the character from Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't even need to say why this thing is cursed. We all know what FNAF is. Last but certainly not least though, this is by far the most cursed Lego item of all time. This is a Diddy minifigure. If you haven't heard what Diddy did, you must live under a rock. But for everyone watching who knows, you know how cursed this minifigure is. I mean, this is just crazy. What was your favorite or least favorite cursed item in this video? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.